Hello there, everyone. This is Mr. Brass. I wanted to make a little video and tell my take on what you on what I believe Christians get wrong about the notion of love. Now, there is a popular trend towards Christians nowadays to say the Trinity is required so that so as the basis of our relationships. Because God, meaning a Trinity, He's intrapersonal. There's three persons that can all love each other, and that's the basis for our relationships. Because as God loves the three persons, we love the all persons ourselves. Now, this seems intuitive in of itself, but it's actually sort of mistaken. Love, the central focus of love is on yourself. I don't mean this in a narcissistic way, but I mean in the sense that in order to love others, you first have to love yourself. Biblically speaking, this makes sense. For it says you have to love your neighbor as you love yourself. Well, the yourself part, the as yourself part, implies that you have to love yourself first before you can love others. And that works perfectly well within a more Unitarian framework. Through one's own acting out of virtues and showing themselves love, can you be a model for other people's interactions with each other? Because what we're doing is displaying our virtues to each other. And when every individual seeks to act virtuous, that does help in the primary focus of relationships. So the ultimate thing is like, it should not be seen that something being intrapersonal, being multiple persons in a relationship should not, like as the Trinity, should not be seen as the grounds for all relationships that we have, like in a sort of monolithic sort of way. What it should be seen as is that in a more Unitarian, tongue-tied, in a Unitarian framework, self-love is primary, and through certain virtues, can be used as a model. Now, please note, this works perfectly well under a framework of a Christian, in a sort of way of a Christian framework, and like divine command theory, I would mean. Like Christian divine command theory, because, it's based on God. And it doesn't require there being more than one person. In fact, one could say that the Unitarian approach makes more sense with a divine command theory, because it's less complicated than a strictly more, view, like the more Trinitarian view. I'm more Unitarian in my theistic beliefs as a deist. I believe there's only one God, and that being divine providence. And I believe God cannot have what I call negative virtues, meaning virtues that come about because of a defect in the nature of a being. Like, it makes perfect sense to say that I am brave. Why? Because bravery is acting justly in the face of danger. Well, God is never in danger. God can never realistically be in danger, even if you are a Christian. Jesus was never actually in any real danger. He knew he would be resurrected. But anyway, that's just sort of how I see things. That God can have those sort of negative virtues. And I believe God, if there is to be what anyone can call love, it has to be more, focused on the self, because the self is primary. I'm an individualist, so this sort of does work with me as well. As a more Trinitarian point of view is more collectivist in its framing. But anyway, this is all for today. This is Mr. Brass saying goodbye and get wise.